morning. Let's take a look at market activity right now. As I said, an extreme pullback in the kind of foreign investor activity we're seeing on the Kenyan market scene at this stage, and pretty much, the same holding true for emerging markets across the board. How are you reading the current scenario?
Well, you after Tunisia and then Egypt, which are two relatively stable nations, erupting go up in crisis like that, investors will be keen to protect their holdings. So I imagine that Kenya will be it's not necessarily being seen as a safe haven compared to Egypt. So they'll probably want to hold all the positions first as they see how events will unfold.
Yep, but what's very interesting though is if we're looking at the bottom performers yesterday, it's the banking sector that was really punished. We had Barclays Bank down 0.8%, KCB dipping back over 2%, and equities shedding over 2.5% as well. And it's interesting because these are players that have really held the positive momentum on the NSE on anticipation of strong earnings reports. Were you surprised by the kind of pullback that came through on that front yesterday?
Well, no, not entirely, because if you look at where foreign investors hold their positions and the most liquid stocks, you'll find banks as being a huge chunk of them, and again that's where they're taking their positions in anticipation of good results. In any case, they could be they have every reason to take profit away from the table as at now, because I think most, if not all, positions are probably profitable. So they probably have not lost much.
Of course, on a fundamental basis, a sector that's looking to be affected even more so is the agricultural space, with tea exports already having diminished on the back of those uprisings we're seeing in Egypt thus far. How are you viewing that tea space right now, where we've got that on the one end, but high tea prices to contend with on the other?
Well, high tea prices are obvious an issue, because like they say in economics, the cure for high prices is high prices. So you expect some demand destruction at some point. However, I mean, also the issue that Egypt imports about 22% of Kenyan produce in terms of tea is a key issue as well. So we expected that to see some pullback in tea stocks going forward. Hopefully this issue will be resolved quickly, but in the meantime, investors will want to stay away. But it also offers a good buying opportunity, because the market usually overreacts to such news.